Hello, people. Welcome back to the last day of this thing that we are doing. What is that? The Mission 80 part. So I believe it was a good 5 day journey for people who have been watching it. Uh, we were done with marathon. We were done with the important topics that needs to be covered. We did almost like 7 RTPs, 7 MTPs, and here we stand on the last day where we are covering on the main crucial part on how do we answer and what are the things that needs to be kept in mind and what are the mistakes that you guys have to avoid while you guys take up your exams. So keep these things in mind while you go for an exam. So yes, let us start our today's session, the master the art of writing law. Now, what are the things that you need to keep in mind when you guys are scoring, when you guys are going for the exam? Always remember, you have to take a risk while you guys write the law paper. The reason also I'll tell you. People, law paper is a paper where you can predict the questions, what type of questions are going to come. Try to prepare for, 120 percentage, that is 1 second. So when you guys go for the exam, make sure you guys are preparing you're giving your 150 percentage, because always remember the paper law is predictable. There is nothing that is going to come where you guys can't predict it at all. It will be something which you guys can predict it. Now when compared to other papers, especially those if you guys are writing, let us imagine if you're giving both the groups, in such cases for aggregate law is your best friend, meaning if something works out in law then nothing like that. And always remember, I keep telling this in the class, the target for you in law should not be 40, the target for you in the law should be at least 65 plus. And if you, is it possible? 100% possible. And how do I achieve it? The last second tips, people, remember, make sure you are a master in part B. You guys have to literally nail it. 3 chapters and look at the marks that is going to give you. So part B, you guys have to nail it, literally nail it. And it is all predictable questions that will come. So spend good enough time. And if you guys master part B, if you guys are managing everything, trust me, 60, no one can stop you from getting 60. Easy, it is definitely possible. So once that is done, what are the next thing that we need to do? Make sure your MCQs count. Meaning it has to make a lot of difference in your life. It is not, I'm saying it is not at all difficult for us to get, 20 in MCQ out of the total 30 they are going to ask. It is very much achievable. So when I have this as a consolidated 50 easy marks, I think I have to be able to score another 15 marks from part A. Very, very, very achievable, easy. And achievable is what I'm saying you. It's not something where it is actually difficult, it'll burn out you. It's not like that. So try to keep that in mind. And next thing, you guys have to write 100 marks. Remember, the first star, you guys have to touch 30 marks. 28, 30. Okay. The second hour, you guys have to touch around 60 marks. The next to last hour, the third hour, that God has given you the speed to write another 40 marks. You guys can manage. But remember, you guys have to touch 100. You have to go near that. Mandatory. Is this clear, all of you? So keep these in mind. If you guys can keep this in mind, then no one can stop you from what you're doing. Understood, huh? So, with all that, yeah, and make sure whenever you're writing the answers, your first question will be the most known question, most familiar question. Don't do any adjustments in the first question. You guys have to literally know what you're writing and write that. Do not beat around the bush in the first question. It should be the most confident question. And second thing, you need not follow the order. I hope you know. So you can do any order you guys are doing. So your first question you're writing in descriptive should be the most confident question, and you need not have to go with the order. And do not forget to underline the important words. Now we'll see, whatever I can write, I'll write. I thought I'll just bring a paper and I'll show you how to master the art of learning. Then I only felt how will it help if I'm telling I'm mastering the art of learning. So let me also write a couple of questions and tell you guys how to write. Yeah. So let's start today's session, people. I've got some 5-6 questions. We'll see what best can be done. Whatever maximum we can write, let us write. So Vishal Limited is an unlisted public company having 5 directors in its board, which includes 2 independent directors. Sam P Limited is subsidiary company of Vishal Limited, actively carrying on its business, having paid up capital of 1.5 crore with 40 members and turnover of 18 crore respectively. And the said company is not a startup. It's not a startup. It is also provided that Sam Private Limited is not a startup. In the context of aforesaid case scenario, please answer the following questions. Whether Sam Limited is mandatorily required to prepare cash flow statements for the financial year as part of its financial statements. Provide your answer by analyzing Sam Private Limited into following category of companies. Assume it to be a small company, assume it to be a dormant company. Now people, what is that they're telling you? There are 2 things. One question is with regards to cash flow statement. The moment cash flow statement is asked, the entire provision, small company, dormant, where will all of this come? This will come in one definition. They're expecting me to write the definition of financial statements. How will I start? I'll start my answer like this. As per section 2, clause 40 of Companies Act 2013, financial statements mean what and all will be included in the definition of financial statements. The first one, people, balance sheet. Next one is P&L account. P&L account. What if it's a NPO? In case of NPO, I'm just writing it non-profit organization. You guys have to write. Never use shortcuts. In case of NPO, income and expenditure statement. Income and expenditure statement. Okay. The third one, what else is there? We have cash flow statement. The fourth one is the statement of changes in equity. The statement of changes in equity. And fifth one, people, explanatory note. Explanatory note. However, remember, explanatory note, I need to prepare all of this. Now, if you look at it, let us imagine this. Actually, the definition will be even more in detail. They would have written a balance sheet as per the previous financial year. Now, we might not write this. It is still okay. Yeah, I'm saying, however, you guys are writing, the same way I'm writing. But make sure wherever it is important, you write what is required. Okay, so explanatory statement done. And so there is a proviso. What is a proviso? Provided that the financial statements for OPC, dormant company, small company, and a private company, which is a startup. which is a startup, private company which is a startup, may exclude CFS from its financial statements. Now people, keeping this in mind, now come to the question. I've written cash flow statement ka definition. Provide your answer by analyzing SAM Private Limited into following categories of companies. Now what is that? Is it mandatory to require CFS for the financial year as part of its financial statement? This is my question number 1. And I have to assume that if it is a company, what would be the case? I have to assume that if it is a dormant company, what is the case? Correct? Okay. Now, what is the first scenario, sir? First scenario. Is it a small company? Okay. So it is neither a small company, neither a OPC, neither a dormant company. So people, I'll be writing SAM Limited. Hence, does not fall under any of the above categories. Any of the above categories of exempted companies from maintaining cash flow statements. Now I'll write the next part. What is it, sir? Analyzing SAM Private Limited's status. Analyzing SAM Private Limited status as per the categories given in the question. As per the categories given in the question. As per the categories given in the question. What is that? First one. Can SAM Limited be considered as a small company? Is it possible? Yes. I'll be writing, because I've already written too much. If it's a 5-mark question, I'll not again define what is a small company and all. I'll write as SAM company is a subsidiary of which company? A subsidiary of Vishal Limited. Is a subsidiary of Vishal Limited. Hence, SAM Private Limited does not qualify as a small company. Hence, CFS is not exempted in this category. The second one, assuming it to be a dormant company. This, I think yesterday also we had seen this, right? Actively involved. So in this question there was 2 controversies also. A few students said, sir, we assumed that the question is given in such a way that the law is telling us to assume that it is a small company, assume it is a dormant company. That is what we thought. Actually, whatever you said is 100% right, people. The question is not clear if you ask me. Provide your answer by analyzing Sam Private Limited into following category of companies. They shouldn't have written it that way. They should have in fact written, provide your answer if Sam Private Limited fit into the below category companies. They should have written it that way. Now even I would assume that they are asking, assume Sam Private Limited as small company and write your answer. Sam company as dormant company and write your answer. That part is not completely communicated clearly. Yes, even I agree that. Yeah, so yes, what is that they are telling is, I have to assume that, can I consider, does it fit in to be a small company, fit in to be a dormant company? So I will write people, as the question clearly provides, as the question clearly provides that Sam Private Limited is into or is actively involved in handling business activities. You're not supposed to write shortcuts, I'm writing, that's all. Handling business activities, and hence it stands disqualified to be called as a dormant company, and hence cannot avail the status of, or cannot avail the CFS exemption. So people, if you write this much, people, you will pakka get the answer. They will come and hug you. Now what else I can do? Section 240, I'm pretty sure I've written right. I will underline. Sir, cash flow statement they're asking you, I'll underline. Sir, following companies are excluded. May exclude CFS from its financial statements. I will underline. The answer, Sam does not fall under any of the above categories. I'll underline. And small Sam company, it does not qualify as a small company because it is a subsidiary company. A small company cannot be called as a subsidiary company. Subsidiary company can never become a small company. Hence, CFS is not exempted. Same thing here, no. It is actively involved. I'll underline. And hence cannot avail the status of CFS exemption. You underline this way. And remember, I have split my answer into 3 ways. The first one is called as people provision. From this place to this place, I have written only people what law says. I have nowhere written about Vishalo, Samo, nothing. Yeah, until wherever the definition is involved. Until where the definition is involved, I have written only and only people about the provision till here. Only provision. So remember, the first part will be my provision, where I speak only about law. The next part, people, will be facts of the case. Meaning, you will be speaking in between. What are the facts? What have they given in the question? Analyzing Sam Private Limited status as per the categories given in the question. And the last part is called as conclusion. Meaning, wind up your answer. And this is how you guys have to present. Got a fair idea? All of you, you'll write one more. Okay, write one more. Now say, for example, okay, we have written multiple times, right? Now we'll do one standalone where there is no point of writing. Okay, now let us imagine. There is this question that they have asked you, theory, a complete theory based. One you have seen practical, how to write. Let us see how to present a theory, direct question. No vehicles are allowed in the park. Comment on the statement explaining the concept of construction in legal interpretation. mention its significance in determining the legal interpretation. Mention its significance in determining the legal interpretation. Now people, whenever they're asking you a direct question, people, and they're expecting you to write up to 4 marks. Now how will you present? First thing people, avoid paragraphs. Don't write paragraphs. If you are going to write paragraphs, no one will read your answer. You have to present it in points. Now what is that you are going to present in points? Try to first understand the question, what they are expecting from you. No vehicles are allowed in the park. Okay, it's a statement. Comment on the statement. This is my first question. I have to first comment on the statement. Explain the concept of construction. I will say this is the second question. Mention its significance in determining. So I know I have to write answer for 3 points. Now we need to know this. What all we have to write. Now how will we read it? Okay, they have written one statement. They have asked about construction. If you write like that, you will not be able to write what is requested or what is desired. You will end up writing what you know, and that is nowhere right and nowhere sufficient. It is not relevant. So now how will I try to divide my answer? I'll first try to divide it into points, people. So my first question is, what is the approach I'll take? I'll first explain what do you mean by construction. First I'll explain construction and I'll say this as my example. And I'll say why I have to take it this way and why not this way. I'll try to answer it in these 3 ways. Okay, to start with, what is construction, sir? Construction, people, I'll write. So let us split into points and write. Construction. Construction is the process of determining the actual intention of the legislature, or I'll write the statute. Legislature or statutes. See, I will write this as point 1. It goes beyond the literal interpretation. It goes beyond the literal interpretation and tries to consider the purpose context and any other relevant factor. So this is my construction meaning. So I have defined what is construction. So what I will do, I'll mark this as construction. And coming to the statement in the question, that is, no vehicles are allowed in the park. No vehicles are allowed in the park can have literal construction or literal interpretation can have literal interpretation or reasonable construction or reasonable construction. The meaning of which would accordingly differ as given under. As given under. So the first point I'll write using a literal interpretation. Literal interpretation. So assuming literal interpretation, now what do I say? Literal interpretation. No vehicles are allowed in the park. If the statement is read in its letter of law, it strictly means no vehicles are allowed in the park without any excuse. Without any excuse. That is, there is no exceptions at all. I mean, they are not said this, that, and all. But whereas, if I look at the second interpretation, if I take reasonable construction, meaning if I am constructing reasonable construction, in this case, what will happen, people? Assuming it's a reasonable construction, here we try to think the purpose behind such restriction, and the purpose behind such restriction and the historical background for it. So, if the intention is to avoid pollution or hardship caused to the people, caused to the public, it can be concluded that the motor vehicles are strictly prohibited and not the bicycles, comma, EV, that small scooters, I'll write EV vehicles, or what else you guys can think of? The wheelchair etc. Public, it can be concluded that the motor vehicles are strictly prohibited and not the bicycles, EV vehicles or the wheelchair, etc. Now, how can we say this? I mean, now if we have answered two questions, that is why this and why not that. For the third one, mention its significance in determining the legal interpretation. Meaning, sir, they have given people what is the significance in determining the legal interpretation. How? What will make you think this way? But if you ask me also, people, from here to here, you would have at least got already 3 marks. Now this, they are expecting you to write something on your own. This is not there in our book. You are expected to write something connecting these topics. First of all, whatever we wrote till now is not there in our book. Understanding, and we need to write it. And that has to work simultaneously at your exam hall. Are you getting the point, all of you? Okay. Now, significance of my third point. Significance of the construction. Meaning, what are the advantages of construction? How does it help? My first point. It resolves disputes and ambiguities while interpreting unclear documents or statutes. And next one, I can also write it tries to look into the true legislative intent. Of the lawmaker. And third one, of course, it actively assists in resolving disputes in the most fair manner. I have scribbled it. You guys don't scribble in your exams. Don't you think it will make sense? Now, see what helped me to write 3 points. The question is only 2 lines. We need to understand the question that we are expected to write 3 paragraphs out of it. Now, from top to bottom, if I write only 1 point without writing like this A, B, without further splitting into like this points, if I just keep everything as 1 paragraph, they won't read. And it doesn't work out. For a valuer, it is very difficult if you maintain 1 paragraph. How can you expect him to pick up where and all the answer is there? Of course he will not know. Now wherever, if you think there is an important point, you go and underline. If not, that is how you need to do. So when you're writing, now how did I write? Now if you look at it, I'll tell you one thing, absolutely own language. Absolutely own. Now you see if it is making sense. Does it make sense or not? And you read it that way. Now you guys have all these questions. Sir, do we have to write cut, copy, paste? Where have I written cut, copy, paste? But my essence of construction is what is given in the book. Meaning construction means this only, as far as what I have understood. And I'm trying to replicate the same in my own language, but by using the same words. Now where should I be very careful? I'm using the word intention, literal interpretation. I'm using these. Now say for example, historical background. Now these words play a significant role. That says how well you are prepared. Those words will give you the marks. And that is what I call as keywords. In your exam, the keywords will play a very major role. And you have to stick on to those keywords. You should not take them light. Understanding? Hello? Pakana? I hope this is good enough. One theory, one. You want me to write one more or sufficient? Good enough? You want one more? Sufficient or one practical, one theory. Simply I am turning on live and I am writing. Hey, who will do that? I am feeling like one student. Like someone is judging me, sitting in front of the camera. You want one more or enough? Sufficient? Okay. Let us see this last one. Energy Mills Limited has issued equity shares with a face value of 10 per share. Mr. Amit and Mr. Burman are both friends. Mr. Amit holds 1000 fully paid up shares, while Mr. Burman holds 1000 partly paid up shares. When the company declares a 10% dividend, a dispute arises and Mr. Burman expects the same dividend amount as paid to Mr. Amit. However, the company insists on paying dividends based on actual amount paid on the shares as mentioned in AOA. In the light of given provisions under Companies Act, elucidate the legal position in following situation. Whether the company's decision to distribute dividends based on the paid up amount is legally valid. How does the Companies Act 2013 regulate dividend distribution in such cases? What role does the Articles of Association play in determining these situations? Okay. Now what should I write, people? The first one, we all know that they are asking you the question on, people, the dividend to be distributed when on your partly paid or how it is. Now I'll be writing, people, according to section. Now let us imagine, I don't know section. According to section 51, I don't know section. How do I write in such cases? According to the relevant section of. So people remember, even it's okay if you guys are not writing a section, try to write it like relevant section, but don't use it for everything. It will look odd. But people, writing wrong section is prohibited. Yes, according to relevant section of Companies Act 2013. This is when I am not knowing the section. Okay, according to not section, it is 51. According to relevant section of Companies Act 2013, the company is free to decide the dividend entitlement either to pay equally or in the proportion of paid up capital. The company shall determine the same in its Articles of Association which shall be binding both on shareholders and company. So this is my section, my provision. Accordingly, now what is happening in this particular book? So accordingly, in the given question, so I am writing the facts. In the given question, the company has by its articles, you're not allowed to write shortcuts, sir. By its articles, by its articles, by its articles, clearly communicates, clearly communicates its mode of, its mode of dividend distribution, its mode of dividend distribution accordingly, or distribution, and the entitlements shall be as seen under. And what is that? A, first, in the case of Mr. Amit and Burman, Amit holds 1000 fully paid, Burman holds 100 partly paid. Arman's entitlement. Arman's entitlement is equal to, how much will it be? He has 1000 shares multiplied by, what is the face value? 10 rupees. And how much is the dividend entitlement? 10 percentage. This will come to how much? Rupees 1000. And how much is it for Burman? Burman's entitlement, 1000 into 5 into 10 percentage, and that will be rupees 500. Now answering the question. And hence the legal position, the legal position of the company in the given circumstances, in the given circumstances shall be, what is that? First one, how much? What is that? Whether the company's decision to distribute dividends based on paid up amount is legally valid. How does the Companies Act regulate dividend distribution in such cases, sir? The companies, that is, I'll use the word only. What is the company's name? That is all you need to write. Energy Mills Limited. So I'll write Energy Mills Limited. Energy Mills Limited decision of paying dividend on partly paid shares, on partly paid proportion, is valid and binding as it was disclosed in articles of association, as required under the law, as required under the law. Yes. And the next one, what is the next question they are asking you? What role does AOA play in determining this situation? AOA shall decide whether to pay the dividend equally or proportionately. Yes, either of which either of which would be binding on the company. Either of which would be binding on the company. Good enough, huh? Interpretation is good, huh? Convenient, huh? So what are we doing? See, wherever required, use paragraph. Wherever required, use points. Wherever required, try to split it. Now underline. Wherever important, underline. So I've showed you one question where I do not know how what the section is. Now try to write it in this way. Now, keeping this in mind, people, one activity you guys do, you take up a paper, try to follow this method. You have to divide your answer into three parts. The first part, I will not write anything about the characters involved. Here, only and only it will be about the provision. Did I bring Arman, Burman, energy, anything in the first paragraph? No. My first paragraph is pure law. My second paragraph is what is given in the question. I'll just explain that. Facts. My third paragraph will be conclusion. Is this clear, all of you? Pakka, and this is how I present. And it will work. So I hope you guys learned something out of it. Yeah, but I had after a long time, I'm doing it something in front of the camera. I don't know, you guys have all judged me. But yes, handwriting, please excuse me. I just scribbled it. Yeah, but you guys write neatly and nicely. Keep these things in mind. Do not do these mistakes. Make sure you're attending for 100 marks. It makes a lot of difference in your targets. And yes, so rest all goes accordingly. If you guys have any doubts, please do feel free to let me know. And I hope with this we will be able to accomplish your target. And wish you all the very best. Do well, and may God bless you. So if you guys have any doubts, do let me know. And if you guys want anything more, do let me know. We still have time, and I feel we can still pull it. So thank you so much, people. See you all. Bye bye.